Hello, wrestling and sports fans, and welcome to another WWE 2K character profile. This time we have the River City Renegade Morgan Reese. So, the River City Renegade Morgan Reese, she was a character that I believe I created in WWE 2K23. I can't remember exactly which 2K game I first made her on, but she was a very interesting character. And I say very interesting because she didn't really fit the mold of most of the cause that I've created in the past. Most of my cause that I've created in the past have had an extreme tragedy happen to them or something of the sort. And I don't know why I've always gone with that approach to my characters. I just think extreme tragedy is like a really good way to give a character nuance and a really good way to make a character maybe sympathetic, or even the opposite, making a good villain. Because some villains aren't always sympathetic. Some of them are just created for the sake of being a villain, and some are just really, really good villains. King Joffrey from Game of Thrones comes to mind. But Morgan Reese, she grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, and she was a farm girl. Her family was very country-oriented and lived in a rural community. And part of that story had come from the fact that I grew up that way. I grew up in a very small town where everybody knew everybody and everybody knew your business, and I grew up as a country boy, so I never was really accustomed to the city. I was more a country boy, or either from a town where just everybody knew everybody, not like, you know, a big city like the Big Apple, like New York City or something like that, you know. So that's kind of where the idea had started. I wanted Morgan Reese to be a little bit different than my characters that I've had in the past. And so this whole farm girl shtick and this whole shtick of her not being into wrestling at first and her not being sporty like a lot of my other characters. A lot of my other characters either been in other sports or trained longer or always had a passion for wrestling, some sort of, I guess, direction into the sports industry. Whereas Morgan Reese did not. She was kind of focused on her family, focused on the life of being a farm girl living out in the country. And one day she saw her dad watching WWF, WWE on television, and she was immersed by it. As a little girl, she wanted to really just know what her dad was into. She was kind of a daddy's girl, someone who was really, really close with her father. So wrestling and getting all muddy and doing the farm girl chores with her father was one of the main things that she did. You could kind of classify her as a tomboy in terms of the attitude. Not necessarily in the way that she dressed, but just in the way that she presented herself. But she liked to get all dazzled up, as you can tell by the makeup and everything from this shot here. For her attire, you can't really see it in this screenshot, but for her attire, I gave her St. Louis Blues attire, which is the NHL hockey team in St. Louis. And her signature is the Shining Wizard, and her finisher is called Feeling the Blues, which is just like a knee or a kick right to the side of the face. And you know, I kind of came up with that name because of the St. Louis Blues, but also, you know, you're feeling blue, like you're feeling sad that you lost, you know, so it's kind of like that. And I kind of wanted to build Morgan Reese up to be this underdog, somebody that people underestimated, somebody that people just really thought wasn't really going to do anything, and especially since she didn't come from the Outlaw family or someone of wrestling caliber or someone that was sporty, she was going to be highly and heavily underestimated by other people in the roster, specifically any heel that matched up with her. So Actually, how she won the title was very accidental. It was an open challenge by Jewel Richter, who was a babyface, that I had downloaded off of Community Creations. And originally, Jewel Richter was supposed to retain the title and face Bella Durov, one of the heels that I built up at the time. And Bella Durov is still a heel now. And that didn't happen. I lost by mistake because I play my matches in my universe mode, and so I lost. And I was trying to think, what am I going to do for this story? And so I kind of ran with it because everybody thought that she wasn't going to win the title. Everybody was going in underestimating her, and so she had this sort of chip on her shoulder, like, now that I have this title, people are going to think I got a fluke, because I think the win was via, like, a roll-up or an O'Connor roll or something like that. And so people were going to say to her, oh, you just got lucky off of a roll-up, quick thing. And she wanted to prove everyone else wrong. So, she had a lot of open challenges and things like that to really prove to people that, hey, I'm here to stay. I might be the underdog now, but I'm the woman to beat. She went on to Slamfest to retain the title, and she also went on to defend the title, I believe, a total of 8 times. I can't remember exactly how many times she's won the title. It's been a while, but I know that she's had multiple title defenses under her belt, so she really wanted to get rid of that dumb luck sort of connotation with her title win. And so she ended up doing that, and now she is champion now, and she's doing her thing. She has this like Southern Belle type of accent, St. Louis. I've actually been to St. Louis. I had to have surgery down there when I was like 6 or 7, and I've been down to St. Louis, so I'm quite familiar with the St. Louis environment. And so it was definitely one of those things that I really loved, was being able to incorporate that part of my real life, having that attachment to St. Louis, but also being able to create this character that was something completely new for me. Because a lot of my characters, like I've mentioned, they usually have some tragedies tossed in there, or they were a sporty person before they got into the squared circle. I don't know why that's always been a trope for me or a thing for me, but I don't know. It's just the way I create, I guess. And Morgan Reese became the champion that you know now, and there's going to be a lot of things going on with Morgan, and I wanted to keep her a babyface for a while, because if and whenever she turns heel, if I decide to pull that trigger and make her a bad guy, it is probably going to be the most shocking thing, because she just doesn't fit the mold of being a bad guy or of being a villain. So I've kind of conjured up some story arcs that I could possibly do for her being a villain, but when she actually turns heel, I feel like it's going to be very shocking, because who would ever see this farm girl, this innocent farm girl that came from a very traditional household and just had that Southern Belle, and she just doesn't fit the mold of someone who would be a bad guy. So when you come to the story arc of her possibly turning heel, if I ever decide to do that, I think it's going to be a very shocking moment for everybody that's going to be watching that on the channel. So with that being said, that is Morgan Reese. So let me know what you guys think of this inside look at Morgan Reese here. And stay tuned for my 2K25 universe mode for RCW and RCW Fusion. That is coming soon. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and we will catch you on the next one.